Obviously, we're here to talk about the officer-involved shooting that occurred yesterday. Anytime we have an officer-involved shooting and there's a loss of life, this is a tragic event. It's a tragic event for the police department. It's a tragic event for our community. Because no matter what the circumstances are behind that shooting, someone has lost a loved one, whether it be a parent, a child, a brother, a sister, and that's tragic. We do value the sanctity of all life here at the department, both our officers as well as the community. So yesterday's events, as with all of our officer-involved shootings, are tragedies that we look to avoid when possible. The deceased is David Joseph, a black male, 17 years of age. And as I stated, we just made notification to his family. Our officer that was involved in the shooting yesterday is Officer Jeffrey Freeman. And as stated yesterday, Officer Freeman has been with the police department for 10.5 years. He is currently on administrative duty, as is standard practice when officers are involved in critical incidents. We have concurrent investigations going on right now. We have an internal investigation with the Internal Affairs Division that will look at this incident to determine whether or not it was in compliance with APD policies. That investigation will have involvement from the Office of Police Monitor, who oversees all of our internal investigations, and all of our critical incidents end up going to the Citizens Review Panel as well. So they will all play an active role in the internal investigation of this incident yesterday. There will also be a criminal investigation to determine if this incident was in compliance with the law, and that investigation is conducted by the department's Special Investigations Unit in tandem and with the District Attorney's Office, who ultimately will present this case to a grand jury upon its completion. The Austin Police Department has very strict policies on response to resistance and use of force. These policies have been in place for many years and are the result of our work with the Department of Justice several years back. These policies have been approved by the Department of Justice, and these are the policies that we will review when we look at this incident through both the administrative investigation and the criminal investigation. First and foremost, there was a lot of interest on whether or not this individual was armed, and we were not able to confirm that yesterday, again, because we had not yet completed our search of the crime scene. We had not interviewed Officer Freeman, and as we stated yesterday, a significant portion, the critical portion of this incident took place out of the camera frame, so we weren't able to see that as well. So we did not want to put out any information that we were not 100% certain of when we briefed you yesterday. We can tell you today that Mr. Joseph was not armed when he had his interaction with Officer Freeman yesterday. We initially got a call, as we mentioned yesterday, at 305 Yeager Lane. This was a disturbance, and the information that we had was we had a subject described as a black male chasing another subject through the apartment complex. Officer Freeman was a responding officer to that call, and he spent a short while at that call talking to witnesses, trying to understand what took place and to locate the suspect from that incident. He did not locate the suspect while he was at the apartment complex, and when he cleared the call, he stayed in the neighborhood in an attempt to potentially locate the suspect. As he stayed in the area in an attempt to locate the suspect, that is when the incident occurred in the 12,000 block of Nature's Bend. This is the part that was captured on the officer's in-car camera and will be a critical piece in the investigations both internally and through the Special Investigations Unit and the District Attorney's Office. We've already kind of described to you yesterday about what happened when he came across Mr. Joseph, gave commands for Mr. Joseph to stop. Mr. Joseph ultimately charged towards Officer Freeman, and again, that's when shots were fired. We need to speak with witnesses that were at the apartment complex at 305 Yeager that may have witnessed that subject chasing an individual through the apartment complex, or anybody that witnessed the interaction that took place again on 12,000 Nature's Bend. I want to reiterate at this point again that anytime a life is lost, we do view this as a tragic event at the department. We strive to avoid these, and again, our hearts go out to Mr. Joseph's family for their loss.
Is there anything about that video that strikes you in regards to red flag or anything else?
Again, the video is going to be part of the ongoing investigation. The video depicts, as I said, it depicts his interaction when he first came across Mr. Joseph, and then Mr. Joseph charging towards Officer Freeman. Officer Freeman continually giving commands to Mr. Joseph, to which he did not comply.
Was
Was
this
there
a
an
fast?
attempt for a taser to be used at any point?
I'm sorry?
Was there any attempt to use a taser?
That will be part of the questioning when Officer Freeman comes in to be interviewed. They will go over with him what options he may or may not have attempted to employ. Obviously, we're aware from the video and from the outcomes of the incident that deadly force was deployed, but his thought process and what his other options were will be part of the investigation. What is captured on the in-car camera when Officer Freeman gives his initial commands to Mr. Joseph and the time in which Mr. Joseph charges towards Officer Freeman was a matter of seconds. I couldn't tell you exactly how many, but it was not a very long duration.